and welcome to my first cooking video. I'm using an Instant Pot today and we're gonna cook beef stew. This is the recipe that I'm supposed to be following, but I do change it up quite a bit. Okay, let's go. Okay, so get you a Ziploc baggie and put half a teaspoon of salt in there, and then you're gonna put a fourth of a cup of all-purpose flour. Just stick it right there in the bag. And then it doesn't call for any other spices at this point, but I am super big on garlic, so go ahead and put it in there. And let's put a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Now you need to mix it up, so close your bag and shake it up a little bit. Get it all nice and mixed, and then you're going to put all of your meat into the bag. So just go ahead and put your beef in there. Stick it all the way in there. Be called for 2 pounds of stew cubed beef. And you're just going to close that bag up. You're going to flip them all around. Make sure you get every piece covered in that flour. Make sure that we prepared earlier. You have that set to the side. We're going to set our Instant Pot to saute for 30 minutes. The recipe called for 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. I had some, but I didn't have enough, so I had to go to my fridge. You know, everyone in the South has that coffee mug full of bacon grease. Let's go ahead and get some bacon grease in there. Yes, girl, it's smelling so good. Okay, so the recipe said to put half of your meat in there and make sure all the sides are seared brown. You're not going to cook it all the way through because it's going to cook whenever we put all the ingredients in together. Right now, we're just trying to get that little bit of crisp on the edges here. So you flip them all around. It takes about 5 minutes to do this. So now we're just going to check and make sure everything has a sear on it, but the middle is still kind of raw because we're going to cook it through during the pressure cooking part. And so once you see that nice little sear on the edges there, you're going to take it all off and put it in the plate, and then you're going to do the same thing with the second half of meat. Okay, so the recipe called for half of an onion, but I ended up using a whole onion. It also only called for 2 cups of beef broth, but I ended up using 4. I still think it could have used more broth, but you know, whatever. I decided that I needed to throw in some more garlic because if someone tells you that you have too much garlic, you should just stop being their friend. Let's put a little bit of salt in there, a little bit more salt, and then we're gonna put some rosemary, some thyme, and I can't pronounce the other one, so I'm just gonna put it up there on the screen for you guys. I'm not even gonna attempt it. It's just been a long day. So there you go. And now we're going to put in some sage, because I forgot to get it earlier, and stir that baby up. I'm just going to let you guys know that I put the carrots in here on this step, but I was not supposed to. It didn't ruin the dish, but it did make the carrots super, super soft. So when I would try to pick them up out of the pot with the scoop later on, it would kind of break them up. So if you don't like your carrots super, super soft, I would wait to put it in there. And the recipe called for a cup of carrots. But I had so much extra carrots from a party that we had that I just threw a whole bunch in. I'm going to put some oregano because I forgot to do it earlier. And some basil. Yummy, yummy. Just season to taste. It said to do half a teaspoon on all the seasonings. And I just like... Let's just go with what you feel. And then the recipe didn't call for bouillon cubes, so I threw one in anyway because why not? I put it in all of my soups. Look at that beautiful bubble. Ooh, just nice. All right, so put all the meat back in there. Just scoop it in there. Come on. Get every piece. There you go, girl. All right, and then you're going to stir it up and make sure all the meat touches all the seasonings, and all the seasonings touch all the vegetables. Just get it nice and good and stirred up. Now that that's done, we're going to close it up and make sure that that pressure is on where the arrow says so. And then we're going to set our little guy to stew. Oh, well first, guess what, girl? You got to cancel the last thing you're doing. All right, set it to stew. And then you're going to set it to 30 minutes. Okay, now go to your oven and take all of those pans out, girl. And don't drop them on your toes because that shit would hurt. And get that crusty thing out of there. All right, Close the thing up. And now we're going to set our oven to 350. If you have never tried this pull-apart garlic bread, you really are missing out. Here are the instructions if you'd like to pause to read them. I'm not going to follow these to the T. I'm not a recipe follower. That's just not who I am. I don't have that kind of time. I have 2 kids. So I'm going to take the 2 tablespoons of butter and I'm going to put it into a microwavable safe bowl. Then I'm going to take the garlic sauce that they give me and mix it up with that. Then I'm going to go over to the microwave, pop it in 30 seconds, every 15 seconds, take it out, stir it. Once the butter's melted, you're good to go. You can put it right back on your counter and start on the next thing. Okay, so now we're going to open our pastry. Just throw that trash over there and push those thumbs right where your arrows are, twist it, and it should pop right open. Then you're going to take all these perforated squares and pull them apart. It's going to be a little bit, but it's totally worth it. Once you do that, you're going to take that garlic mixture and pour it over the top and make sure you get every last drop onto those babies. Just, come on, get all that garlic stuff out of there. Don't waste a single bit. Okay, now that all of that is out of there, you're going to get in with your hands and make sure you get every single piece coated in the garlic sauce. And once you get done, resist the urge to lick your fingers. And now it's done. Let's go ahead and put her in the oven. Okay, so when putting it in the oven, I did burn myself. If you ever do this, you can use mustard to help with the pain. It doesn't last for really long, but it does help a little bit. And then this is when I realized I forgot to put in the cheese like a doofus. So I had to pull the hot thing out, move the camera all around, and then the recipe called for 1/4 of a cup of shredded cheese, but I used like the rest of the bag. So it was probably like more close to a cup, which there's no harm in putting more cheese in, right? It's ready to go ahead and press cancel, and then you're going to go over and let the little pressure valve out and be careful. So once it stops steaming, that's your cue to go ahead and open the lid. Be careful opening the lid. It's still going to have a lot of hot steam and you could burn yourself. Stir it up, and we're going to add in our potatoes. I put 8 potatoes in. There's a little bit of pepper there. Just peel, cube, and then rinse them off before you add them to your food. We're going to go ahead and close it. Make sure you put that pressure back on, and then you're going to set it to stew once again. And this time you're going to set it for 10 minutes only. It's going to cook the potatoes and everything through, and it should be done.